Hey guys, it's Will and Steph, and today we're talking about how to date well and physical boundaries. And this could be mostly for dating, but yeah.
I mean, how to date well.
Yeah. Well, the physical boundaries part is basically.
I don't know as many boundaries when you're married.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when it comes to physical boundaries, I would just like to say that you know yourself, and I think a lot of people, how they mistranslate it is they listen to other people and they're like, this is gonna work, this is gonna work, and this is gonna work. And yeah, it could work for you, but the thing is, we're each different, and we should be able to know before we even date someone where our boundaries lie.
Yep.
And some people have more self-control than other people, or they know, like, okay, here's what it is. And I think that's important because something that may work for somebody may not work for you, or it could work for you.
Well, and it could be something like harmless, like, hey, you're kissing them, but you know, to that person, that always leads to something, and that self-control isn't there. So it's better to take a step back and say, wait, let's not do that.
Something could trigger someone that for someone else it wouldn't even be a problem. So you need to know for yourself where those lies, and and you actually need to communicate it, because I feel like sometimes in the beginning of a relationship you're like, okay, this is where my physical boundaries are, but you don't actually say this, and this, and this, and that's where it can get you in trouble a little bit.
You don't set the boundaries, you say the boundaries.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
So, now, that's kind of, you know, and then it's, you know, physical boundaries is one of those things that you talk about that you can easily go through and say, hey, if it's double covered, keep it double covered. If it's, you know, don't be in a home alone, you know what I mean? If you don't have that self-control, you know, there's boundaries, and it's really easy to start pop, naming them off.
And I also think it depends, like, how old you are. I feel like when you're younger and you're dating, it's probably easier not to go far, because you're like, okay, I'm young. Like, I wouldn't even think about, like, going past kissing when I'm that, like, a younger age. But it's also, like, you have guys and girls, too, where they're just, like, thinking with their feelings. So that's a problem. And then when you're older, you're not thinking with those feelings, so you're thinking about it, like, a little bit more maturely. But at the same time, you're probably dating that person with the thought of marriage in mind, and when you're older, you're dating more wisely, so it's probably someone like you really, really, like, want to be with, and you're more attractive, so the temptations come more. So you just kind of, like, have to find that balance and know when you're younger, don't think with your emotions and your feelings, but also when you're older, no, like, marriage is in mind, but keep that in marriage and don't step out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, now, how to date well. That's the next part. Basically, I'm going to tee it up because I know you want to talk about this, is in the part of really having a set boundary. Not saying it, but set boundary is communication. What you hear communication is key, but it really is. It's really important. So, I know Stephanie really wants to dive into that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm talking a lot. This video is shocking.
Okay, go.
Anyway, I feel like you need a set in the sense of what we did really well when we were dating, I think, is we communicated it in a really, like, chill way and got the problem over really, really fast.
Yeah.
And I think when you set a pattern of how you communicate with that person, that's how you're going to continue to communicate. It's going to continue to be chill and calm. But the moment you, like, say you start yelling, or you start, like, more attacking that person than just like trying to, like, communicate with that person, that's, you're going to be used to that, and you're going to continue to do that, and then it's going to be like a toxic cycle of communication. But if you can get it in a way of a pattern of doing it in a chill and calm way, then that's going to help you in the future.
Right. And, you know, one thing that hurt us for a while is that we had a bunch of stuff go wrong at one time.
When we were married.
Yes, when we were married. When we got married. So we had a bunch of that go wrong right there together. Which all caused not only just physical problems, but emotional problems, and made things worse than they actually were when we thought back about it, which then caused tension because when we weren't communicating, Stephanie thought one thing and I heard another. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not going to work, because then I'm upset, and then me being upset upsets her more, and then it's just this building up, and it's just not good. So, always over communicate.
Yeah. And I feel like when we were dating, we did it in such a good way, mm-hmm. but we had gone through problems and challenges, but we hadn't really gone through big problems. So when those big problems hit in marriage, we took it out in a wrong way. And then again, it was that pattern, and we just thought that's how we needed to communicate. Thankfully, we talked about it and we worked it out, and now we don't communicate like that anymore, obviously. Yeah. And it's good and it's healthy and it's great. But I'm actually glad that happened, because it was like a learning curve of okay, this is how you're supposed to communicate. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah.
So, and like I said, and it kind of brings it into another point in dating. Now, if it's something that's bad this person does, I'm not talking about that, but our communication was really good and it dipped bad. Then we made it back good. And it's still getting better and better. See, I feel like what a lot of people do now, especially in dating, is it's good. They made a mistake. This is bad. I'm out. This means all this stuff, You get, people online are like, if he has said this to you, he's just not it. I'm like, I'm doing my impersonation of these girls, but they're just doing that thing. Some of the podcasts you watch, a girl was literally like, yeah, I just cheat. I don't want them to cheat, but I cheat. And then I break up with them.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I was just watching a video the other day how they were saying, sometimes there's double standards.
Yeah.
For different people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of true.
Right.
It has to kind of be equal in your relationship, where if you don't want them to cheat, you better not be cheating too, which I don't think cheating is right in any circumstance, obviously.
Right. But you more meaning hey, if it's okay for you to go text a guy, but he texts a girl and you get all blown up about it, and he was like, yo man, I was just her partner in class today, and I was making sure we got the work done. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not the same. Yeah. Where it's the double standard, oh, you can go talk and stuff. But anyways, getting back to my kind of initial point is that when something does go wrong in your relationship, that's not just abort ship, or we're not talking anymore, or fine, I'll leave then, and we're going to take a break, and then you come back and then you're together and then you're on a break. Doing that constant thing, Ross and Rachel style, it's not healthy. Now I get it. If they did something, if they went and cheated on you, or they're going down a path and that's not the way,
probably just need to break up with them.
But don't do this whole thing of, well, we're on a break and then we're not on a break and then we're on a break. It just
I've
doesn't
never really
help.
understood breaks, to be completely honest, because to me, and it's a whole of the way you define it too, because some people are like, well, we're still together but we're on a break, I'm just not talking to you during this time. Some people are like, we can get together with some other people, and then sometimes it seems almost like a cop-out, if something works out with somebody else, mm-hmm. you'll just definitively break up with them, or if something doesn't work out, you'll just go back to that person. And to me, that's...
Yeah. Well, and the reason I say this is that if dating is for marriage, what are you going to do in marriage then? Or is it going to be anytime you fight, well, he's got to go sleep on the couch? I know that's something people talk about, but is that really healthy? The Bible says, don't go to sleep...
mad at each other?
Yeah. So, why aren't we fixing things? Or saying this is not going to work out after, thinking about it and praying about it and really dwelling on it and ending it. But you can't just sit there and, this is I'm saying this is how to date well. If you're going to date well, you're dating and preparing yourself for marriage. So if you're going to do this whole break thing, it's going to cause so much more pain and stuff in marriage.
And I know a lot of people nowadays like to say too, well, you need to date a lot of people before you settle down because it's good for you or whatever. But honestly, I feel like that causes more problems in the long run because it just causes more confusion for the other person.
Yeah.
And it's well, what about this person? What about this person? What about this person? And then you just have this long list of people and it's just all this drama. Not saying that if you've dated a lot of people and now you're dating the person that's the one, that's different. But if you're continuing that cycle and you think it's good for you and then you're planning on settling down, it's going to cause a lot more problems.
And typically when people say I'm dating around and dating a lot of people, they mean more than just going out on a date. There's one thing about going out on a lot of dates, and there's another thing about going on dates and furthering that in a worldly way, unchristlike. But I think that kind of wraps up what we kind of wanted to talk about. So, hey, we love Jesus. Jesus is the foundation of our relationship and our marriage. We just want to see his love, light, and truth, and all the other characteristics of God shown through our videos. And we hope to see you in the next one. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you there. Bye.